Hello everyone, I welcome you all in our channel Classes Online. I Love English. Today we are going to complete our lessons in our book Bridge to Success Grade 7. We are going to start Unit 10, People and Numbers. In this video, we will look through some activities in the course book and workbook. Unit 10, Lesson 1, How we Spend Our Time. I hope you will enjoy the class, and if you are ready, let's begin. Now, my dear students, let's start our lesson in Unit 10, People and Numbers. Lesson 1, How we Spend Our Time. Our main objective in this lesson is to understand and use fractions and percentages to describe habits and routines. We have to focus on this sentence. I probably spend about a third of my day. A third of my day, which is fractions. In this example, we use fractions, a third of my day at school and another third sleep. Have a look at this photo. Can you guess what this woman is doing? Yes, she's doing a survey, which means she's asking people some questions to get information. Now, the main question in this survey is, when you have 4 hours of free time, what do you do? Now, we are going to listen to 2 people and we are going to match the people to the pie charts. We have 2 pie charts. For person A, he spends 1/4 of his free time reading. 1/4 of the 4 hours, it means 1 hour reading. He spends another hour riding a bike. It means 25%. 1/4 equals 25%. And he spends half of his time of free time, 4. So half of his free time, which means 2 hours watching television. For person B, he spends 1 hour reading and 3/4 of his free time watching television, which means 3 hours of his free time, 4 hours. Now let's listen.
Person 1.
4 hours. I usually spend my free time watching TV. Yeah. In 4 hours, I'll probably spend about 3/4 of that time watching TV. Especially if there's a good football match on. In the other 25% of that time, I read magazines or newspapers. Just relaxing, really.
Person 2.
I'll probably ride my bike to my friend's house. It takes half an hour to get there. We usually spend about 2 hours watching TV and maybe an hour reading comics. Then it's another half an hour back to my house on the bike.
Now, after listening, we know that person 1, who spends 3/4 of his free time watching television and only 1/4 reading magazines and newspapers. The second person, he rides his bike to his friend's house, and they usually spend 2 hours watching television and another hour reading, and then he goes back again to his house. So this is 1 hour. Person 2. Now we have finished activity 2 in our course book, and we have listened to the people and matched the people to the pie charts. Now in activity 3, we are going to listen to 2 more people's responses to the same question. If you have 4 hours of free time, how are you going to spend them? We are going to complete the pie charts. For person 3, he divides his free time into 4 quarters, and for person 4, he divides his free time to 3 parts, 1 quarter and another quarter, and half of his free time doing one activity. After listening, we are going to complete these pie charts.
Person 3.
Well, it's important to relax sometimes, but not too much. Whenever I have 4 hours of free time, I spend half of it relaxing indoors. So, about an hour watching TV, and perhaps another hour reading a book. Then I spend some time outdoors. I like gardening, and I do that for about an hour usually. It depends on the weather. In the last hour, I go for a run.
Person 4. Reading. Definitely reading. I read books all the time, so I can imagine spending at least 50% of that time just reading my book. I might also spend about an hour reading magazines, and perhaps another hour reading comics. What can I say? I love reading.
So, for person 3, like we mentioned, she spends her free time in these activities: 1 quarter watching television, another quarter of her free time, which means 1 hour reading a book, and another quarter gardening, if the weather is okay, of course, and the last quarter, which means another 1 hour, she likes to go for a run. For person 4, she likes reading, so she spends 2 hours of her free time reading a book, and 1 quarter of her free time, which means 1 hour, reading magazines, and the last hour of her free time she likes reading comics. So for person 3, these are the activities, and for person 4, these are the activities she likes doing in her 4 hour of free time. Now we have finished activity 3 in our course book, and we have listened to more people's responses to the same question in the survey, and we have completed the pie charts. Now let's move to the first activity in our workbook: how we spend our time. We are going to match the words to the numbers and symbols. Here, I'll give you 1 minute to read the words. and try to find the appropriate numbers or symbols that we can match them with the words. The first example, percent, is done for you. We have matched percent with the symbol of percent, so number 1 with B. A quarter, it's written here as a fraction. 1 out of 4 means quarter. 1/4. 1/4 means a quarter. For number 3, a half, it's written as a percentage. 50% means a half. Number 4, less than half, which means less than 50%. The only percent we have less than 50% is A, which is 45%. For number 5, 75%, how can we write 75% in numbers? We're going to write 75 and use the percent symbol. So 75%, it's not written in the percent way, but it's written as a fraction. 3/4. 3/4 means 75%. For number 6, none. None means 0%. 7, just over a third. As we know that third is 33%. When I say over a third, it means more than 33%, which is F, 35%. The last one, most. Most means less than 100%. So most goes with E, which means 98% less than 100. Now we have finished the match. Can you check your answer? Now we are going to move on to the last activity in our workbook. Now we are going to start activity 2 in our workbook. We are going to answer this question first. How many squares are there in this chocolate bar? Let's count the squares together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 squares in this chocolate bar. Then we are going to work out how much of the bar is left in each of the following pictures. After we calculate how much of the bar is left, we are going to write the fractions as words. Number 1 is done for you as an example. Let's count the squares left in this chocolate bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 squares left out of 12. 10 out of 12, it means 5 sixths. 5 sixths. Let's work out how much of the bar is left in number 2. Let's count the squares left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of 12, which means 3 quarters. Now we have worked out how much of the bar is left, and also we have written the fractions as words. 3 quarters. Move to number 3. Let's count the squares left in this chocolate bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 12, which means 2/3. For number 4, only 6 squares are left out of 12, which means a half. 6 squares left, 6 squares were eaten, so a half. For number 5, only 4 squares left out of 12. 4 out of 12, it means a quarter, a third. 4 out of 12 means a third. For number 6, I have only 3 out of 12, which means a quarter. And the last one, only 2 squares are left out of 12, so we have a sixth. Now we have finished activity 2 in our workbook, and we have worked out how much of this chocolate bar is left in each of the following pictures, and we have written the fractions as words. Now we have come to the end of our class today. I hope you have enjoyed the class and completed the activities in your course book and workbook, and I hope to see you in next class soon. Thank you very, very much for listening. Have a good day. Goodbye.